Hello, everybody. It's Saturday, January 13th, 2024. I've got a special weather update for you with this winter weather. It's being brought to you by Hot Springs County Travel and Tourism, reminding you that as temperatures continue to get colder and snow falls at Thermopolis, you can always find yourself in hot water. Well, folks, we're just going to give you kind of a brief overview of kind of where we are and where we're going to go through the rest of the weekend here. Basically, the cold is here, feeling that way in many areas across the region. But basically, there's no changes to what we've been talking about for the last several days. The timing, where the Arctic air is going to be, where it's going, and where the snow is going to fall over the next few days continues to be the same. There is going to be a brief break in snowfall across the Intermountain West today, mainly during the daylight hours today. But another wave of Pacific moisture will overrun the Arctic air, especially the Interstate 80 corridor from California all the way into western Nebraska. There'll be a wave of snow tonight and into Sunday in those areas. Then another wave of snow, maybe not as much, affecting the exact same areas of the I-80 corridor region, parts of northern Colorado, as we get into Sunday night and into Monday. And all during that time, the Arctic air will be banked up against the Continental Divide, and the Arctic air is going to hold through Tuesday, late Tuesday, before we see a warm-up on Wednesday. However, we could have Arctic air sneak back into areas along the divide by late next week, something we'll keep an eye on. And that's something we'll address with the update on Monday. This is where we are today with the nation under the grips of harsh winter weather coast to coast. All of these gray areas here have to do with wind chill advisories or warnings, getting all the way now down into the northern areas of Texas. There's the blizzard in the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. Just a whole lot going on. You see all the pink here? This pink kind of showing you where the low is going to be tracking here over the next couple of days, bringing heavy snow to the mountain areas. For Wyoming, we've got everything from winter storm warnings and avalanche warnings to winter storm watches. Notice we have avalanche warnings for far western Wyoming for the Jackson area. Over 4 feet of snow has fallen in some of the mountains of western Wyoming over the last several days. Now, that snow is on top of crusty old snow that formed when it wasn't snowing much. And that surface, that crusty surface, is perfect to make snow easy to move. So avalanches are going to be happening, and avalanche dangers are going to be high, not only in western Wyoming and eastern Idaho, but we're going to see it later in Colorado as well, and other mountain states as the heavy snow is falling on that very hard surface of crusty snow that we formed in December. Here are current service observations as of just before 5 a.m. this morning. So this is very old school, but for those of you who have looked at weather maps before, the numbers to the left of the dots basically are the current temperatures in Fahrenheit. So you can see we've got minus 40s up here in Canada, lots of minus 20s and 30s across Montana, Wyoming, the Dakotas, sub-zero temperatures getting into eastern Idaho. We will continue to, however, see the Arctic air spill more south and more east in the coming days. Now, the satellite imagery this morning, we're going to do what we did yesterday. Here is the next wave. This is the next Pacific wave that's coming, going to make it snow again along this path tonight and tomorrow and into Monday. There's the storm in the Midwest. And up here, let's see where that Arctic air is. There it is. We showed you this image yesterday where it's trying to determine temperature. So you can see the extent has expanded rapidly and a lot more south than east as of early this morning in terms of the bitter, bitter cold Arctic air coming out of Canada. And here's the Pacific moisture that's going to come over and interact with it later. If we were to take more of a straight down shot on the region, you can see the extent of the leading edge of Arctic air as of early this morning, now just getting down into the Oklahoma Panhandle areas. And this satellite image shows really well how the bitter cold air is hung up on the divide and not spilling into these areas yet. You'll get your chance late Monday and the Tuesday. You'll see it. But you can see the green areas there where the deepest Arctic conditions continue. So this is where we are on the 500 millibar chart this morning with the low coming in off the Pacific Northwest coast, the deep bowl of bitter cold air settling into the U.S. Now, the animated shot here shows the next wave of precipitation very nicely. It shows the next two. So this is what's going to be developing tonight into tomorrow, then tomorrow night into Monday. You can see there's sort of two waves there. The one that's going to go through tonight and tomorrow, then Sunday night into Monday. You add those together and you take Arctic air, you mix it up with Pacific moisture. One thing that happens, we call this snow-water ratios. The colder it is, the more in inches of snow you're going to get with water. So 1/10 of an inch of water when it's 32 degrees will be an inch of snow. But 1/10 of an inch of water when it's 10 to 20 degrees below zero could be 3 inches of snow or 2 to 3 inches of snow. So we're going to see the snow pile up. As you can see, if we add it all together with totals, you can see there's going to be an area here along the I-80 corridor in southern Wyoming into parts of northern Colorado, but the I-80 corridor just going all the way back from California through Nevada, Utah, into western Nebraska, that'll be impacted. Some front range of Colorado areas as well. And look at the mountains. They're going to get another big slug of precipitation in the form of snow. So it's going to add up. So this will be falling and accumulating on top of what fell in many areas Friday afternoon and evening and Friday night. So it'll be impressive amounts. This is why we've got avalanche warnings and avalanche concerns coming on up. This is the animated shot of what the Arctic air is going to be doing between now and early to midday Wednesday. So you can see like waves on a beach. The Arctic air kind of goes back and forth, pushing up against the divide, going back, and then finally retreating, and we get a little bit of a Chinook by the time we get into Wednesday east of the divide. But what we're seeing is what the temperatures and that bitter cold Arctic air will do. And as you can see, as we get into late Monday and Tuesday, there's a push there into southwestern Wyoming of the deeper, colder Arctic air coming on in early next week. But for the most part, if you're east of the divide, you're in the bitter, bitter cold. West of the divide, you're still plenty cold, still plenty windy, but you're going to miss out on the worst of the severe cold. It will sneak in, though, as we get into Monday night and into Tuesday in those areas west of the divide. So there's a lot going on. Stay warm. Our next update will be on Monday.